Okay, so this video is going to be for individuals wanting to understand more deeply what the duty to accommodate is, especially because I found out and seen with my own eyes through a photo someone shared with me that a letter has been sent out to federal employees referring to religious accommodation, almost like, anyways, I am tempted to go down a long rabbit hole with a lot of the language that's in this letter. The fact that the letter has been sent speaks volumes here, okay? And the fact that it appears there's an attempt to restrict the scope of application of duty that has fallen on them. Okay, I'm going to explain to you why. There's no form that you fill out. Okay, and the reason is because this duty to accommodate is invoked when we simply call upon it. Because if we have to call upon it, that means someone has broken the law and committed a violation of international treaties and covenants. It's not negotiable. Okay? And what happens is then the insurance underwriters void coverage for every government employee and elected individual, because the liability falls 100% on them. So what they own, that's what will get seized by the court to cover the injury and damages that have been caused by the violation, which the insurance underwriters explicitly, supported this international covenant, because they are saying, look, we're not gonna insure people that go and cause injury and harm using, I can do this and get away with it with my job. No, that's like a runaway train. Okay? This is why. So I'm going to show you, how obligated they are. This is so enshrined. Okay, here, probably in reverse. But what you want to do is you want to look up United Nations Convention on the Law of Treaties, signed in Vienna in the 23rd of May, 1969. That's how old this is. Entry into force was the 27th of January 1980, and yes, Canada definitely signed on to this. Australia's definitely signed on to this. Okay, now look at this Article 27. A party may not invoke the provisions of its internal law as justification for its failure to perform a treaty. This rule is without prejudice to Article 46. And then Article 46 articulates it more deeply. Once they've signed on, they cannot renege. Insurance will be void. There's no wiggle room here. You comply to these covenants or you lose your insurance if you do something illegal during your time of serving the people. Okay? The people. If you violate their freedoms and rights, when you're in a position of power and authority, you lose your liability insurance provided to you through your employer. Okay, so now I want to share. So now this law of treaties, is what then takes us back to the International Covenant on Political. So it's like the highest law. It's like the umbrella. It's really big. And it's all connected to this insurance, okay? So you're going to definitely want to get that, because the other thing I noticed in the language, this is important. They're trying, to me, it appeared as if a restriction of the scope of protection this duty to accommodate actually provides. There is a resistance in the language to honor the true scope of the provision. And this is of critical importance, okay? Because I'll just read from the duty to accommodate. And this is a research paper, a parliamentary paper. I highly recommend. If you message me, I will put a link. I know what to do. I'll put the links to these documents below in the comments, okay? Okay, so under 3.2 on duty to accommodate in Canada, okay? Now, why is it that there's no form if you go on the website, okay? It's because it's not something they regulate, okay? It's something we regulate when they cross the line from service to domination, okay? That's why it's not through a form, okay? Because it says, while the process for determining the duty to accommodate at federal and provincial and territorial levels varies, so maybe there's different people you might talk to or whatever, it generally begins with a request for accommodation or a complaint of discrimination. Okay? So all it is, it's the same as filing a complaint of discrimination, okay? But because this freedom is so enshrined, like listen to this. This is the same document, 3.2, religion. The constitutionally entrenched right to freedom of religion and the legislated human right to be free from discrimination based on religion protect individuals wishing to practice the religion of their choice or have no religion, and to hold personal beliefs without fear of persecution or prejudicial treatment from governments, employers, landlords, or private service providers. Okay, now let me read to you Article 18, okay, which shows the scope of the duty to accommodate, the broad application that it provides for, which appears perhaps many exposed bureaucrats are becoming rapidly uncomfortable with, because there's no liability insurance for them to hide underneath. Article 18. Everyone shall have the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right shall include freedom to have or to adopt a religion or belief of his choice, and freedom, either individually or in community with others and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in worship, observance, practice, and teaching. Now, what I noticed on this letter that was sent to a federal employee, they were trying to restrict it to only religious beliefs, but the covenant does not define it that way. Okay? And just like I said, or read, it also says in the duty to accommodate in our own Canadian Parliamentary Library to include, what did it say? To practice the religion of their choice or to have no religion and to hold personal beliefs. All you federal employees who have received such a letter, wow, okay, you got them on the run now. Okay, they have, okay, this is so serious. It's actually shocking to me. It's honestly, I'm surprised they've exposed themselves, because this is evidence, okay? Like everything they said in that letter, they can't take it back. Even the language of the letter itself violates the covenant, which nullifies their liability insurance. They just gave more ammunition for liability. Okay, that's like mind-blowing when you just process that, okay? So anyways, Article 18, for sure, it is not restricted. It's conscience, it's thought, beliefs, value system. We decide what's sacred, okay, to us. Now, what's important is, for me, okay, is I'm beginning to understand that a lot of this struggle between freedom and slavery has existed with mankind for thousands of years and is referenced in the scriptures a lot, okay? And so for Christians who are dealing with this, okay, and find support and comfort and encouragement from the Bible, I feel that 1 Peter chapter 2 will be very relevant. Now, I've done a word study here, and I'm going to share with you what I found. So verse 13, it says, "Submit yourselves for the Lord's sake to every human institution." This word submit is not to subjugate, okay? It means more is to cooperate with. Big difference, okay? So whether to a king as the one in authority, it's going to explain when we choose to cooperate, what the reason is, or to governors as sent by him for the punishment of evil doers and the praise of those who do right. Yes, my Christian conscience does allow me to cooperate with other people if they are genuinely demonstrating the support of what is right, and if they are punishing acts of evildoers which are causing extreme harm. Okay? Now, for such is the will of God, that by doing right you may silence the ignorance of foolish men. Now, verse 16, act as free men, and do not use your freedom as a covering for evil, but use it as a bond slave of God. Okay? Because once we begin to awaken to the way this inversion occurred, okay, and all of a sudden the served are trying to be, the ones who are meant to serve, all of a sudden want us to serve them. No. It doesn't work like that. When they do right, we cooperate with them. When they do evil, okay, they've broken the law and they will be chastised. And there are many mechanisms built into the system so true justice is executed, okay? In fact, in the International Covenant, the very, very beginning, it says all people have the right for self-determination, okay? That is pure freedom. We decide who we cooperate with. Nobody forces us into subjugation, especially around such sacred matters as this, the autonomy of our body and our, the whole thing, okay? So I hope this articulated clearly before you consider responding. Like, I personally don't even think I would use their form or document. I would just write my own letter and declare and invoke the duty to accommodate. Okay? That's it. And so I'm sure a lot of federal people that received this letter, like the very fact I seen they tried to put a 5-day, like a time limit on it, that made me laugh. That actually made me laugh. Yeah. Yeah. Because there's no time limit on this. Okay, there's none. Okay, we're in a process now of correcting a serious breach of trust. Okay? Now, I'm sure there are many investigations going on now tracking down this the linkage of the crime, and how international that it could be. But in the meantime, I want everyone to just know with absolute certainty and conviction which this scraped together in haste letter that got sent. If you just allow yourself to read between the lines, okay, and read what these other very clear international treaties, this one, the covenant is signed by 172 nations. Okay, there's no wiggle room here at all. None. Zero. And they're digging themselves in deeper. So what's happened, this letter has now exposed the liability more. That's what this letter has done. Okay? And that's very, very powerful. So this is for my, close by friends, because I know, people where I live are being affected by this. And I wanted to explain this to you so you could be really empowered now. The duty to accommodate is not a request. It's an obligation on them to bring them back into line with the law, which they have participated in violating. Okay? Which makes them all liable financially in the private. Now, what does that mean? That means the court can seize everything. Everything. Their house, their money, whatever. Just like, with bankruptcy, it's probably even more severe than bankruptcy, because when you cause bodily harm and injury while participating in crime, there's jail time. Like, this is bigger than just liability, okay? Yeah. So please, everyone, every federal worker who received that letter, get a nice hot cup of coffee, put some cocoa in, get some real whipped cream, put some sprinkles on top, go by the fire, and read these documents beside each other. And you will smile. And if you're in a rocking chair, you're going to go, wow, look at this. Look at this now. Okay? Yeah. You 100% are protected. And they have injured you. You have suffered for months. The stress alone, and all the people. You see, this is about trying to stop the people who may have even taken a couple shots and now are going, wait a second, there's been deception here, there's been fraud here, there's been, manipulation, concealment. This has not been, I was not actually given the opportunity to have true, full, informed consent, and on and on and on down that rabbit hole goes. And individuals are not obligated to, and this is not a request for an exemption. No, it is not that. They have zero authority in this matter. Okay? That's how powerful this is.